Hey, I don't know what I'm doing.
Jean and Ray got married. They've since had 50 wonderful years together. And they've had 2 wonderful, supportive, successful children. Yeah. Susan and Raymond. I'd like you to join me in a toast to Jean and Ray for this occasion, and may you have many more happy years together. Here's to Jean and Ray.
Thank you, Mark.
Did you get that? All right, you go.
Uncle Ed, very nice.
Oh, no.
This one's more professional than this one. This one has to be white balance. The rest are auto. I prefer manual big time. Is that rolling? Yeah, white card, you get a much better white balance than if you just shoot with an auto. This camera's very good under low light.
We want to thank all of you for being here this evening to help celebrate my mom and dad's 50th anniversary. This is a very special occasion. We know not often do people make it through 50 years of marriage. And on this special occasion, we have a very special guest
But you need them on the stools first, Sue.
this evening. And if Mom and Dad would please come up here and join me.
That's you, Icky.
And we do have a very special guest with us here this evening.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find. Catch me a catch. Hello, darling. How are you? How are you, guy? A great catch. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, who got the great catch? All right. How about the applause on this side for him? What a pair. How are you, guy? You look good. This is what a guy looks like after he hasn't had a drink all his life, huh? Jenny, I'm not a stripper. I missed that job by a couple of inches, so don't be disappointed. More important, my name is Edwards Ralph. Edwards Ralph. I got something for you guys. This is for you, Jen. And this is for you, big guy. Make your day. Did you look and see what I gave you? Might be condoms. Why didn't you open it up? Hey, you like Butter Crunch, huh? I went to 5 stores to get that for you today. I knew if I came to Wilmington, Delaware, I wasn't going to find it anywhere. They don't even sell this in Wilmington. Let me put it on the side for you. I'll give it to Sue. Is that a phone ringing? Really? My mother is calling me? What a time. Anyway, does the name Edwards Ralph ring a bell? Yeah, why? Hey, big guy. Tonight, this is your life. A marriage made in heaven, which is also where thunder and lightning come from. Jenny and the blonde comet. I can still see some of the blonde. Yeah. Or was it from that Polish girl you were fooling around with upstate? Might have been. Could be. Okay. I was given 16 pages of material on the both of you. I had to burn 12 of the pages. His pages. If Kitty Kelly got a hold of this stuff that I burned on you, wouldn't need books on Reagan and Sinatra and lunches and things like that. That's first of all. Second of all, take a look at this group of people here. one of the nicest crowds. I've been sitting here and I've been watching these people. They have been behaving like actors and actresses. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, if you program people to sit at a table and eat properly and do that, they would have to be actors and actresses. Do you know this, Jenny? You know what happened here tonight? You didn't hear what happened here tonight? When Sue and Ray Jr. planned this party, every person that was invited said, I wouldn't miss that party for anything in the world. Anything in the world happened today. First of all, we lost half of the guys that were invited to this party because they heard the weather report that it might snow. And these are the kind of guys that if they see one snowflake, they don't get in their automobile. That's it. Snow is like sex, Ray. You never know when it's going to come. You don't know how many inches you're going to get. You understand? Good. I'm just trying to see if you're with me now. All right. So they called up and they said they weren't coming to the party. Then we had a new thing. The other fellas found out there was so much basketball on television tonight that they were going to do what they do every Saturday night. They lay on the couch with their clicker in their hand doing thumb aerobics all around the channels. And they said, I know you were disappointed when you walked in here to the party. You thought you were going to be with a lot of Avon ladies, right? Yeah. Anyway, the fellas who were into sports watching called up. They said, we're not coming. All right? All we were left with was the ladies. And then it happened. They made an announcement that Lord & Taylor, Loehmann's, and Bloomingdale's was having a secret sale tonight. When the women heard this, they said, forget it. We're not going to the party. The truth of the matter is, no one was coming to this party except your daughter and your son. And your daughter, the genius, saved this party. She called celebrity lookalikes, the Delaware, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Italian, Irish, Polish, Welsh, Jewish. Manny, raise your hand. This is what the hell they came up with right here. These people don't know you from a hole in the wall. So when I get through with this material, they're going to know what you're all about. What about her life? Her life has been your life. Jeanette, Elsie, I know it's Jenny. Jeanette Elsie Richards, born September 13th, 1975. I brought one of those Jersey mosquitoes with me. West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where you were born. I'm originally from PA, Passaic Avenue, New Jersey. I was so poor as a child. Ray, if I woke up in the morning and I didn't have an erection, I had nothing to play with the rest of the day. That is poor. In fact, my father used to paint my feet black. I should look like I was wearing socks when I went to school. And in my neighborhood, the Italian fathers used to go out on the porch Christmas Eve. They'd fire a shotgun in the air. When the kids would say, Pop, what happened? He'd say, Santa Claus will commit suicide. Anything to get out of giving the kids a gift. Now you live in Lana Turnersville, New Jersey. And Raymond Thomas Richards, you were born December 29th, 1912. You always liked a much older man, right, darling? Your family moved from Wales to Canada to Pennsylvania, but you were still able to find them. You were born to Susanna and Will, and they came here with you and your brothers, which means Susanna always found the toilet seat up. Mary and Bombi, may he rest in peace. Who's the one that's playing Mary? Oh, Mary is right there. Okay. He was always working on the railroad, but as a foreman. In the house, he was the commander-in-chief. Mom was the queen of Abundanza. And you grew down with the rest of the Magnificent Seven. Bobby, Alex, Marie is the office mangler of her daughter's chiropractic office. You know the difference between a regular doctor and a specialist? A specialist has a smaller practice but a larger Mercedes in the driveway. Oh yeah. Our Edward, who just retired from IBM, where he made a lot of CASH. Mostly for Betty to spend when she goes out to SHOP. Betty was an RN, which is a real nurse. A practical nurse is one who marries a wealthy patient. Irene was a CPA for 30 years. She did cleaning, pressing, and alterations. And Bobby did carpentry, plumbing, and additions. And then we got the baby Ray, who is married to Pat. His work has a lot of ups and downs with Boeing helicopters. And then on your side, we got Harold and Growl, are gone now. And Len and Betty have gone fishing in Port Richey, Florida, where most of the people that live there are senior citizens, which I call recycled teenagers. Nice people. I know a couple, they went into a doctor together, just like you two, sitting right here. She went in first. She sits down, the doctor says to her, "Do you still have intercourse?" She says, "Wait a minute, I'll ask my husband." She opens the door, she goes, "Max, Max, do we still have intercourse?" He says, "I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. We got Blue Cross." Did you hear about the man that goes into the doctor's office and he looks at the doctor and he says, "You're crazy, you're crazy." And the doctor says to him, I know. That's what they have down there. They have people suffering from CRS. Can't remember shit. Anyway, moving right along, as a youngster, you worked in a silk factory and as a pin setter in a bowling alley. You like bowling?
Very much.
Yes, I gave it up for sex, because the balls are lighter, you don't have to change your shoes that often. You go golfing?
I did.
Yeah? Oh, that's a good sport. I tried it last week for the first time. I hit 2 good balls, Ray. I stepped on a rake. How about tennis? You do that?
I did.
Tennis backwards is sin net, and it's a sin to watch you play the net, my friend. What about jogging?
No.
My grandfather was 83 years of age in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He started jogging 5 miles a day. He's 97 years of age today. We have no idea where the hell he is. You always kept yourself in great shape for soccer. Ray Davies, the coach of the German-American soccer team, had you living in his home. And you always went to church. Every Sunday you sang in choir and prayed. You prayed for girls. You dated a Polish girl upstate. Bombi thought you had another wife and family upstate. He didn't trust you because you weren't Italian. But you did go out with a few Italian bimbettes, like Rosina Putana, Maria Mortavama, Belinda Braccolarab, who was a very bitter chick, and gave you up for Al Dente, who was a lot firmer than you. Do you remember the first time you had sex, Ray? You were frightened. You were by yourself. That's safe sex, my friend. My father caught me. He says, "Don't do that. You're going to go blind." I said, "Dad, I'm over here. Over here, Dad." You remember when you were 16, you found out you had to do it with someone? She almost ruined your life for you. She said, "You know you're a lousy lover?" You said, "How do you make a judgment like that in 23 seconds? I saw your tongue come out there. Come on. Did you hear about the Jewish lady that walked into a pharmacy? She said, "I'm a recent widow person. I'm going out with the boys. I'm not worried, God forbid, my age I should get pregnant, but I'm worried what I'm hearing about herpes and AIDS, so I need to get rubbers, galoshes, condoms." He says, "I got them. You want 6s, 8s, or 12s? She says, "What are 6s? He says, "6s are for the black people. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday they go to church." She says, so what are the 8s? Hispanic people. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, twice on Friday, twice on Saturday, Sunday they go to church. She says, "So what are the 12s? He says, "Jews. January, February, March, Manny, don't laugh so much at that stuff, Manny. Oh boy. Forgive me, folks, I never used in the past a four-letter word, but this is not really a four-letter word. It stands for unsolicited carnal knowledge. But it's such a perfect story about the three types of marital sex. You know what they are? There's sex all over the house, sex in the bedrooms, sex in the hallways. When you're first married, you have no children, sex all over the house. When the children come, you go in the bedroom, you have sex in the bedroom. Then, when the children move out on their own, you have sex in the hallways. You pass each other in the hallways, you say, go fuck yourself. Moving right along, you were looking for the perfect Irish wife, which is a beautiful sex-starved deaf-mute that owns her own liquor store. Instead, you found the skinniest Italian girl in the world, the love of your wife, Jenny. It was Wilkening Manufacturing. You made piston rings, and you were in the office, and Gertrude saw it all happen. She was there. You were as persistent in your pursuit of her hand and other parts in marriage as you were on the soccer field. Christmas 1941 was almost a disaster. You were invited to dinner at Grandma Barone's. You went for $3 and bought the future love of your wife a manicure set. But when you got to the house, Joe Alisi was serenading Jenny, and you got mad. You left the manicure set and left the house. So Joe got to eat the delicious meal, and Bombi dropped bombs twice on your wedding plans. But you told him, I will run away with Ray if you don't give us your blessing. And so on April 11th, 1942, a marriage made in heaven. When you first met, you were like Adam and Eve. You know about Adam and Eve? They were the first to have computers. She had an apple, he had a wang. Oh yes, in fact they just proved that Eve had to be Jewish. Who else but a Jewish woman in the middle of making love to a man would say, would you like a piece of fruit? You could have wound up, my friend, with a JAP, a Jewish American princess. Do you know the difference between a Jewish American princess and a vulture? A vulture waits till you're dead before it eats your heart out. Do you know the difference between a Jewish American princess and a jet engine? A jet engine stops whining when you get to Boca Raton. You know what animals they need to be a certified Jewish American princess? They need a jaguar in the garage, mink in the closet, tiger in the bedroom, and a jackass to pay for it all. Do you know why it costs so much money to divorce a Jewish American princess? Because it's worth it. I know it. You bought your dream house on Wingate Road, and Bombi thought you were showing off. $6,300 for a house, and he thought you were a show-off. All your old suitors, who probably wanted to get into your suita Madanias, cried over your marriage. Mr. Independent, who drove a musical horn with a car built around it. Freddie Clash played the trumpet. And Adolf Muckler almost joined the German army or something. I don't know what happened there. Boy, did you have some stiff competition with you. A wise man once said, I wouldn't give up any of my children for $5 million each. But I wouldn't take another one for a nickel. Let's talk about your investment. The daughter you were desperately seeking, Susan. The Avon lady. You know what's black and blue and goes Avon, goes ding dong, excuse me? A beat up Avon lady. Screwed that one up. She is the office mangler of the Compensation and Benefits Department. She was married to John, may he rest. He left us suddenly last year. And Lisa, his daughter, does something special with computers. That's all people ever say about computers. You know, Jenny? That's all they ever do. They don't know how to explain how somebody does what they do with computers. So they say, he works with computers. Ray, the apple who didn't fall too far from the tree, recently broke up with his partners Jim Beam, Hiram, and Johnny Walker. He is single, which means he comes to work from a different direction every day. For 20 years you had gas and tires and batteries, and then you also had a liquor store, you of all people. You ring, we bring, and Joe Mullins rang. You sold and delivered wine before, during, and after its time. Did you hear about that Irish bar they opened up in New York City? They got a number on every stool, like you're sitting on. Guy walks in with his friend, he says to him, "What's the numbers on the stool mean?" He says, "They call out a number every hour. If you're sitting on that stool, you go upstairs, you have the best sex you ever had in your life." He says, "Did you ever win?" He says, "No, but me wife won 3 times last week." My son is Jewish, by the way, Ray. My daughter-in-law, his wife is Irish. She drinks, but she gets it wholesale. Sunday mornings were fun with your kids. You were reading the comics and dancing with them around the living room. Your daughter was put through college on the profits of the cigarette machine. You turned out to be a good man, in spite of how Bombi felt about you. But you didn't trust John either when you think of it. When Susan moved her furniture out to California and John didn't answer the phone at 9 p.m., you said, "You'll never see your furniture again." When you decided to give Susan piano lessons and Ray accordion lessons, the teacher, Mr. Cavalier, said, "Save your money. They're both tone deaf," which they got from their father, because when he sings in the shower,